Ever feel like there's something going on just out of sight, above our heads, maybe? A story we only catch glimpses of.
Yeah, something mysterious, maybe even, well, hard to believe sometimes.
Exactly. So today, we're doing a deep dive into one of the biggest puzzles out there, UFOs, or UAP as they're often called now.
And it identified aerial phenomena.
Right. And the huge question that comes with it, are we actually alone in this, enormous universe?
It's a staggering thought.
We've pulled together some really interesting threads, stuff from high-level officials, incredible witness reports, and even just the mind-bending statistics about life out there.
Our goal is basically to connect some of those key dots, the most intriguing bits, without making your head spin, trying to get that aha moment right.
Yeah, avoiding the overload. What's really grabbed me is how this topic, which used to be kind of fringe,
Totally whispered about.
is now being discussed openly. At really high levels. It feels like there's a shift happening.
There definitely is. And it's worth asking, okay, what's driving that? What are the most compelling parts of this whole picture?
Well, let's start with something that might surprise some people. The U.S. government, specifically the Pentagon, actually had a program looking into these UAP sightings in our airspace.
That's right. The Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, ATIP.
And the guy who ran it, Luis Elizondo, he wasn't some conspiracy theorist. He was a career intelligence officer, a serious guy.
Absolutely. A credible figure inside the system. And what he said since leaving, well, it's pretty significant.
He's claimed they investigated objects, incursions basically,
Yeah.
that performed in ways that seem to defy our known technology.
Right. Not just blurry lights, but things demonstrating capabilities beyond anything the U.S. or anyone else publicly is known to possess.
And he's mentioned classified videos too.
Yeah.
Actual footage of these things making maneuvers our best jets just can't pull off.
And the national security angle is huge there. He raised concerns about them showing up near sensitive sites.
Like nuclear facilities, yeah. Not just in the U.S., but apparently Russia too. That's
Yeah.
worrying on a global scale.
It really is. If you've got unknown craft with superior tech buzzing nuclear sites, you have to ask, who are they and what do they want? It becomes a major security issue.
Now, here's where it gets a bit messy.
Yeah.
Elizondo says there were people inside the government actively trying to suppress this information.
Yeah, he's talked about pushback, definitely, even mentioned David Grush, another whistleblower, and the whole controversy around his medical records being leaked after he spoke out.
It really sounds like an internal fight, doesn't it? Some wanting this conversation out in the open, others pushing hard against it.
Which makes you wonder why, if these are all just weather balloons or drones or something easily explainable.
Then why the secrecy? Why the alleged threats or discrediting campaigns? It suggests there might be more to it.
Exactly. The obstruction claims are maybe as interesting as the sightings themselves.
And this kind of government denial, it apparently goes way back. People talk about Foo Fighters in World War II.
Strange lights pilots reported seeing, yeah.
And the secrecy ramped up after we developed atomic weapons. The thinking, some suggest, was fear. Fear of mass panic, economic collapse.
Even a crisis of faith, maybe. Questioning religion or our place in the universe. The Cold War probably didn't help either.
Right. Imagine adding potential alien visitors to that mix. Provide some context for why a culture of secrecy might have started and then just stuck.
Became deeply entrenched.
And Elizondo even raised potential legal issues, like maybe Congress and the president weren't getting the full picture on this intelligence or the money spent on it.
That's a serious charge. Bypassing oversight in a democracy, that raises fundamental questions about accountability. Who's calling the shots?
And maybe the most startling thing he said. He stated the government has materials recovered from somewhere that, quote, doesn't look like it's made by us.
Mm-hmm. He mentioned he'd been blocked from saying that before. That's a huge claim. Physical materials.
Even without details, just the assertion.
Yeah.
It really shifts the conversation, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. If true, it means we might have physical proof of non-human technology. The implications are just revolutionary for everything.
Okay, so shifting from government insiders,
Yeah.
let's talk about eyewitnesses
Mm-hmm.
and sensor data. There are some really striking cases.
Like the Colares incident in Brazil back in the late 70s.
Right, this wasn't just one or two people. Thousands apparently saw strange lights and objects over months. And the Brazilian military actually investigated it officially. Operation Saucer, they called it.
Yeah, the sheer scale is notable. And there were reports of injuries, too, people claiming they were hit by light beams, potential directed energy effects.
And accounts from military folks in other Latin American countries describing similar craft around the same time. Makes it harder to just dismiss.
It does. The official investigation, the number of witnesses, the reported physical effects, it's a very compelling case study.
Then there's the one many people have heard about, the Tic Tac incident, U.S. Navy pilots, 2004.
Off the coast of California. And this one is fascinating because it wasn't just pilots seeing something weird.
No, it was tracked by multiple, really advanced sensor systems simultaneously. The radar on the USS Princeton, the Spy 1 radar.
The E-2 Hawkeye airborne radar,
Yeah.
the pilot's own F-18 radar systems, and they got electro-optical, video footage.
So multiple high-tech eyes all seeing the same inexplicable thing.
Exactly. And the way it moved, that's the key. Dropping, 80,000 feet to 50 feet almost instantly?
Yeah.
Just poof. And then moving at hypersonic speeds, stopping on a dime, accelerating instantly, all with no visible engines, no exhaust plumes.
Stuff that just breaks the known laws of physics and aerodynamics.
And the pilots, Commander Fravor and others, they got a visual, described it as a smooth, white, oblong shape, like a Tic Tac mint.
Right, and they saw it dart around erratically, then disappear, only for the radar operators on the Princeton to pick it up again almost immediately, 60 miles away.
The performance level is it's hard to wrap your head around. It is. And you're dealing with highly trained observers, credible witnesses, backed up by advanced technology, recording things that, frankly, shouldn't be possible according to our current understanding.
It really pushes the conversation beyond, did they see something, to, okay, what did they see?
Precisely. It demands serious scientific investigation.
Which brings us to that fundamental question. If there's even a possibility of other intelligent life, maybe even visiting us, why isn't it obvious? Where is everybody?
The Fermi Paradox. Named after Enrico Fermi, the physicist.
He supposedly asked it during a lunch conversation back in the 50s, right?
Sure.
Like, given the billions of stars, billions of planets.
The odds seem high that life, even intelligent life, should have arisen elsewhere, maybe many times. So why haven't we seen any clear, unambiguous signs? No galactic empires, no probes, no radio signals everyone agrees on.
It's a genuine puzzle. There's even this thing, the Drake equation.
Right. Frank Drake tried to sort of quantify the chances, put numbers on factors like how many stars form, how many have planets, how many planets could support life.
How often life becomes intelligent, how often it develops technology we could detect, how long those civilizations last.
But the problem is, most of those numbers are complete guesses. We just don't know. So the equation is more like a way to organize our ignorance, you could say.
Yeah, highlights what we need to find out.
It does. It frames the questions we need to answer.
One possible answer to the paradox is this idea called the Great Filter.
The concept that there's some hurdle, some incredibly difficult step in the evolution of life from simple cells to a spacefaring civilization, and it's so hard that almost nobody makes it past.
And the filter could be anywhere, right? Maybe getting life started in the first place, abiogenesis, is almost impossible.
Or maybe developing complex animal life is the filter, or intelligence itself. Or maybe the filter is ahead of us.
Like developing technology that doesn't lead to self-destruction, or figuring out how to travel between stars.
Exactly. It's a pretty sobering thought. If the filter's behind us, great. We're rare and special. If it's ahead, that's worrying for our future.
There are other ideas, too, sort of evolutionary explanations for the silence. Maybe intelligent aliens just don't develop tech like ours.
Could be. There's one idea about oxygen levels. Maybe the conditions needed for widespread fire and combustion, which fueled our industrial revolution, are actually quite rare.
Or the water world idea, that many potentially habitable planets are covered in deep oceans, making it much harder to develop metallurgy, electronics, that sort of thing.
Right. It reminds us not to assume our path is the only one. Alien intelligence might operate under totally different constraints, leading to very different outcomes.
And then there's just distance.
Yeah.
The sheer, unbelievable scale of space.
Absolutely fundamental. We talk about light years, the distance light travels in a year. Our galaxy is 100,000 light years across. The observable universe is billions of light years across.
So even if civilizations are out there, they could be so far away that signals take thousands, millions, even billions of years to travel.
Communication becomes incredibly difficult, maybe impossible in real time. Civilizations could rise and fall long before their signals ever reached anyone else.
It's hard to even imagine those timescales.
It really is. The cosmic distances are a huge barrier.
There are also less cheerful possibilities for why we haven't heard anything.
Yeah, darker scenarios. Like, maybe advanced civilizations tend to wipe themselves out. Nuclear war, climate change, runaway AI.
Or maybe something external gets them, like asteroid impacts or nearby supernovas.
Or maybe the galaxy is actually a dangerous place, the berserker hypothesis based on sci-fi
Where
stories.
robotic probes sent by one civilization destroy any emerging life they find.
Yeah, or just generally hostile advanced life that eliminates competition. It's a grim thought, but it's one explanation for the silence.
Then you get into some really out there ideas.
Speculative territory for sure.
Like maybe advanced beings upload their consciousnesses into virtual realities and just lose interest in the physical universe.
Or the dark forest hypothesis. This comes from a science fiction novel, too. The idea is that everyone stays quiet because broadcasting your existence is incredibly dangerous. You don't know who else is listening, and they might be hostile.
So the safest strategy is silence. Like hunters in a dark forest, nobody makes a sound.
It's a chilling idea, and then there's the zoo hypothesis.
Ah, right. That maybe super advanced aliens are aware of us, but they're deliberately leaving us alone, observing us like we observe animals in a nature preserve.
Hands-off approach. Non-interference. Maybe they have rules about contacting less developed civilizations.
All these ideas, they really stretch your brain trying to figure out why we seem to be alone.
They force us to consider possibilities way beyond our everyday experience. It might not be about technology or distance, but something more philosophical even.
And part of it might just be us, our own limitations. We perceive reality through 5 senses, a tiny slice of the electromagnetic spectrum.
Exactly. Radio waves, microwaves, X-rays, they're all around us, but we don't see them directly. Maybe alien life communicates or exists in ways we're just not biologically or technologically tuned into yet.
We could be missing something obvious simply because we don't have the right tools or senses,
It's entirely possible. Our perception is inherently limited.
which might explain why projects like SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, haven't found anything definitive after, what, decades of listening.
Right. They've been scanning the skies for radio signals, mostly. But maybe that's like searching for smoke signals in an age of fiber optics.
Someone used the analogy of searching for a bonfire.
Yeah, when maybe advanced civilizations use energy much more efficiently or communicate in ways that don't leak out into space so obviously. Maybe focused laser signals or something we haven't even imagined.
So the lack of a SETI signal doesn't necessarily mean no one's out there.
Not at all. It might just mean we're looking for the wrong thing or in the wrong way, but the search itself is still valuable.
And the search is continuing, just maybe broader now. NASA's astrobiology work.
Absolutely. Looking for signs of life itself, not just signals. Missions to Mars like a Perseverance, looking for past or present microbial life.
And studying those icy moons in the outer solar system, like Enceladus and Europa.
Which seem to have vast liquid water oceans beneath their ice shells. Prime territory to look for life as we know it, or maybe even life as we don't know it.
It feels like we're shifting from just listening to actively going out and looking for habitats and biosignatures.
It's a more diverse approach, definitely. International collaboration is key too. China's Mars missions, Europe's Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer.
And just the sheer number of planets we now know exist. It still feels like the odds favor life being out there somewhere, doesn't it?
Statistically, yes. Billions of planets in our galaxy alone. Trillions in the universe. It seems improbable Earth is the only place life ever got started.
Though I read something interesting, that maybe Earth having so much liquid water on its surface is actually kind of rare.
That's an ongoing debate. We're learning more about planet formation all the time. It could be that planets in the habitable zone aren't always watery, or maybe they often have too much water, making continents rare. It adds another layer of complexity.
Okay, so let's circle back quickly to the government secrecy aspect we touched on earlier. Why might they keep things quiet, assuming there's something to keep quiet?
Well, beyond the panic idea, you hear speculation about technology, if they recovered alien tech.
You'd want to keep that advantage secret from other countries, right? Reverse engineer it.
Potentially, yeah. Or maybe fear of disruption. Imagine what truly advanced, maybe free energy tech would do to our current economy.
Or advanced medical tech. What happens to the pharmaceutical industry? There could be powerful corporate interests wanting to suppress that kind of thing.
That's another line of speculation you hear. Protecting existing power structures. Or maybe even, some suggest, protecting the aliens from us.
From humanity. Like the zoo hypothesis again.
Sort of, yeah. Or just maintaining control, being the sole point of contact if contact ever became open. Lots of potential human motivations, good and bad.
And it seems like the public is already suspicious. Weren't there polls showing most Americans don't think the government is being open about UFOs?
Yeah, YouGov and others have shown significant public belief that the government knows more than it's saying. There's a definite trust gap there.
Which probably isn't helped by the history. Project Blue Book, back in the day, the official Air Force investigation that officially ended.
But documents show the CIA and other agencies maintained interest long after. Declassified files confirm that.
It creates fertile ground for suspicion when the official story seems incomplete or changes over time.
Absolutely. And of course, you can't talk about government secrecy and UFOs without mentioning.
Roswell, 1947. The crash in New Mexico.
It's the foundational myth, almost. The story that launched 1,000 conspiracy theories.
Even though the official explanation shifted over the years, weather balloon, then Project Mogul spy balloon.
For many, it remains the prime example of a suspected cover-up. It really cemented the idea in the public mind that the government might be hiding something extraordinary.
So wrapping this all up, it really is a complex picture, isn't it? The whole UAP potential alien life question.
Definitely not simple. You've got credible testimony, compelling sensor data, intriguing scientific arguments like the Fermi Paradox, and this long, tangled history of government involvement and secrecy.
There's no smoking gun, no definitive proof of alien ships in a hangar somewhere that's been made public.
No, not yet anyway. But the possibility, given the sheer scale of the cosmos, the weirdness of some of these encounters, the number of unknowns, it feels increasingly plausible, or at least less easy to dismiss entirely.
We're certainly in a time where the discussion is more open than it's ever been.
We are, and that feels significant in itself.
So maybe the final thought to leave you, the listener, with is this. Considering everything we've talked about today, Elizondo's claims, the Tic Tac, the Fermi Paradox, the potential reasons for secrecy, what piece of this puzzle do you find most compelling?
Yeah, what's the bit that makes you go, maybe there really is something more going on here?
It's a huge topic, endlessly fascinating, definitely something to keep thinking about and exploring on your own.